welcome to my YouTube channel, 90% Native. My name is Michelle and I garden in Northern Virginia in Zone 7A. Today I'm going to be doing more of a vlog. I have a lot of projects that I want to get done and we are having an unseasonably warm day here in Northern Virginia. It's going to get up to about 62 degrees. So if I can knock out a bunch of projects today, I would get a head start on the spring, and tomorrow is supposed to snow, so it'll be really good to get some of those items off my list. So I think I'm just going to walk you around and I'm going to show you the jobs that I plan on doing, and then later today or tomorrow I'll show you what I ended up getting done with. Okay, first thing, when my husband gets up, I'm going to have him help me with this. Over here I have these two frames. They're supposed to be cold frames, but I've used them to store my native plants. And so what I want to do is take those frames and I want to put them down there next to the trampoline, and in that area, that's where I want to start holding all of my seedlings that I sow outside, all my native seedlings and all that kind of good stuff, because that's kind of off in the distance. It gets shade and dappled shade, so the seedlings won't get burnt up like they do further up here in this section of the garden, which is pretty much my only really sunny spot. So those frames go down there, and then what I want to do is, I'm probably not going to do any of the edging or anything like that, but I want to bring this bed out and around and then connect over there. Now right here in this area is part of the septic system, so I can't really come out here, but if I keep it like this in a curve up and then into that bed, that is where I am going to sheet mulch. I'm going to put cardboard down there. I'm going to put wood chips over top. And this year I'm going to use that area for my deer resistant vegetables. So I'm going to try garlic and onions, and they say tomatoes are kind of deer resistant, so I might put one out there. Cucumbers, because cucumbers have that fuzzy leaf texture, and see what I can get going over here. Put a lot of aromatics to kind of have a scent barrier to keep the deer away, but really just putting things that have been tried and true to be deer resistant, and test out a couple of the other vegetables, because in my cutting garden, as you can see, my cutting garden is very small, and so I'm going to maximize the space this year by going vertical, maybe getting some cattle panels and trellises and things like that to do my beans and all that kind of good stuff, but it's small, so anything that can withstand the deer, I'm going to move outside of the fence. And then I may consider fencing up this area at some point. Only problem is that my shed doors, I want to be able to bring the wheelbarrow straight out my shed doors, and that's just not going to be feasible if I fence up that area. Okay, and so behind the cold frames here and before the fence, I want to grow black, I think they're black raspberries. I'll pop it up on the screen. But anyway, I got these, I don't know if you can see it, but I got these cuttings from my parents' house of these raspberries that are supposed to be absolutely delicious, and I'm going to go get more this spring. And so I want this to be a raspberry patch right here, as well as having vegetables climbing that fence. So I know that the raspberries have thorns, so I might need to, put that into some consideration. But anyway, that's what I want. I want to have black raspberries there, and if I can get this part as deer resistant as possible, I might even throw some blueberries here. So that's one job. And just in case you're interested, in these frames I have almost all native plants. The only non-native plant I have in here, I think, is some coriander. But usually I keep anything that requires sun or part sun in that bed, and then part sun and shade in that bed. And I think just all my baby seedlings will do so much better in filtered sun or dappled shade and shade. So get those out of there, and then put grow bags here, replace this area with grow bags, and get my deer resistant vegetables going right here. Okay, so that's that job. So let me take you down here. If you notice all the sticks, I've been pulling them out of the beds because I want to chip them for mulch. Okay, so here's the trampoline, and I think I will put my sun cold frame right here, and then back there behind this little wildlife habitat I will put the cold frame, so maybe I can just come up here and access it. Those are the compost bins. Yeah, this is like a big wildlife habitat area. I have that. You can't even see that one over there. And then I have piles. I have my husband chainsaw the logs that fall and the big branches that fall into wildlife habitat. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so up here we had a really, really bad snow and ice storm, and that storm took this cherry tree partially down. So I need to have the hubs come out here and cut this all the way down, and then just chop them up and chop up the branches into about 18-inch sections for wildlife habitat. And then I will also use it for my wildlife, oh, I can't remember what I call it, my wildlife hedgerow. But yeah. Okay, moving on. If you all remember any of my garden tours where inside that fence was completely full of life, this is what it looks like in the winter. It looks like I desperately need some like red twig or yellow twig dogwoods in there. Probably even yellow twig, because I think yellow twig would stand out more there. But anyway, that's what it looks like in the winter. Okay, so over here is my dry creek bed. So I need to blow the leaves out of the dry creek bed. And right here in this cage is a button bush. And then this is a button bush. And then that's a button bush. And when I did this dry creek bed, I don't know why I thought it would be cool to have this little island here. It's not. And what I want to do is just put the 3 button bushes in there, and that's going to be sunken into the ground so that when the rain washes down here, comes into there, into the dry creek bed, then there's like this basin. And button bushes love, love, love moisture. They can actually sit in water. So I'm going to have all 3 of them there. You know, the deer like them. And I don't know how successful I'm going to be in the long run of keeping these guys, but their blooms are so cool, and they're just huge pollinator attractors that I really hope I can keep this area going for them. Okay, and moving on. In front of the dry creek bed area, I never gave this a nice edge, or barely an edge at all. So I just need to do that little piece right to there, and the edge needs to be made a little more purposeful. See, right now it's just kind of jagged, and it goes almost straight into that walkway, which is hard to see my walkways right now because the leaves are covering them and they need to be mulched, but that is a walkway. And we'll go down there and talk about my next job. This red bud tree here that's in the cage, that cage keeps falling over, so I need to shore that up a little bit and raise it up, because the deer will eat the tips of the red buds. They probably already have. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like it. See, that witch hazel is much higher, and I might need to raise that a little bit further too, because let's see here. Have they gotten to it? No. So I want to raise this up a little higher to keep them off this witch hazel. My teepees for my vines, I think, need a 4th and or 5th stake in them, so that's something on the list to do. There's another one. Oh, and the Hypericum prolificum, shrubby St. John's wort, if you've seen my videos before, this is all green. All of those bushes need to be trimmed back, and I will trim them 50%. So I don't worry about them. I trim them back 50% because I don't want them to get leggy. Okay, moving on. Coming down the side of my house right here, this stick-looking bush is a Carolina allspice. And what I plan to have here is the Carolina allspice just all the way down. When you get further down, I have Hypericums and I don't know, something else. But anyway, the Carolina allspice is really good deer resistant shady bush. So I will propagate them with hardwood cuttings. I've never done the Carolina allspice with hardwood cuttings, so I'm going to try it this year and see if it works. I also did collect seeds off of this guy in the fall and planted them, and they've been sitting out in one of those frames. Over here is the hedgerow, all caged up. If you remember that video, not a lot to see. Oh, it looks like we have, okay, this is, what is this? Hold on. Okay. The deer and the animals knock over on my cages sometimes. I'm gonna have to come back out here and put another stake in there, but that I think is, that you can't see on the video, is, what is that? I think that's a hazelnut. I forget what that is. I'll have to look it up. So yeah, put some more Carolina allspice through here, leave a path for the AC unit, and then over here I have at least three Hypericums. Also in here I have tons of whitewood aster, I have Dryopteris ferns, I have sedges and columbine and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm hoping is I get the main hedge here as the Carolina allspice and the Hypericums, and then the woodland perennials kind of fill in all the spots. Look at this Japanese Pachysandra. I ripped all this out. I'm gonna have to do something. I might have to get, don't shoot the messenger, but I might have to get some Roundup to take care of that. These will also go back to the location where I'm putting my cold frames, so that I can also put natives in there, and I'll just cover it with deer netting in the falls. There's another one. Okay, so then this would be probably the final project that I'm going to put on my list for today, only because I know there's no way I'm getting everything done that I talked about. But my yard it's very easy to keep the fall leaves in check in the front yard, because I blow them all over here, or I put them in a pile and I put them on a tarp and I go put them in my compost bin. But I have all these leaves to collect, and so I want to gently, I know I shouldn't do this, but I do want to kind of like gently rake them up and get them back into my compost bin, and because that's a lot of good stuff there. Okay, so I think that that's pretty much it for, oh, let me get this. This has been annoying me. I put these as markers right here because I have swamp rose mallow here, and then I wanted to intermix the swamp rose mallow with the switchgrass. I have 3 switchgrass, so I wanted to put 3 switchgrass in there. It's looking like a total mess right now, unfortunately, but I'm gonna have to leave it for the wildlife for now. I'm gonna hold out as long as humanly possible, hoping to hold out until April 1st this year for major cleanup, but we'll see what I do. So anyways, let me get these because these aren't even in the right place anymore. Okay. Okay, look at all that Japanese Pachysandra. Ugh, hate it, hate it. There's no way I can do that on my own, so I'm gonna, I think, hire somebody to remove the Pachysandra someday. We're gonna put, I don't know if you can see, we had a dogwood die, that stump. We're gonna put another one in right around that location. That's kind of an anniversary present to us. Oh, here's some snowdrops. There. A little bit of sunshine for the day. No, it is taking all my power to not cut this back. You just are not supposed to cut things back until I think the temperatures get above 55. Ugh. Now I may get back in there because there's Joe Pyeweed back there, and I don't think I want Joe Pyeweed back there anymore because it's like, I think I have some other things that might look better. I don't know. I got to figure that out. You know what? I might need to sit down and draw all that and see, look at all that. That's a mess. But I got to leave it for the wildlife. This is so hard. Same with my island garden. Ugh. Ooh, I gotta push all these back so all those seeds don't get right there in the edge. Okay, last to do thing is make sure all these seeds heads are pushed back so I don't have thousands of native plants blooming in the edge. Okay guys, this is what it looks like in February. Not a lot to see. My hellebores also are coming out really late. I've had hellebores in December before. But just think, in a couple months, this is all going to be green. I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I got so much growing right now. That's the plan. I want to see how many of those to-do list items I can tackle today. I don't know, it's going to be 62, so I need to be out here like all day long getting those items done, because if I don't get them done today, then I'm going to have to wait for another nice day, or some of those things are going to have to be done in 32-degree weather and it's supposed to snow tomorrow. We'll see what happens, but if you are experiencing any of this beautiful weather today, enjoy, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. Okay friends, I am working through my projects and I thought I would show you how I edge. So I'm just gonna come down here and put the camera right on where I'm edging so you can see my process. People do it differently, but this is mine. So I'm realizing now I probably should have been showing you a side view of how I edge. So the next time I edge, I'll do it again. But you can see here, I have a nice deep trench. And I'm gonna go take the wheelbarrow up to my wood chips, my free wood chips from chipdrop.com. And I'm going to mulch this edge. Okay, not sure if it looks like much right now, but here is that nice new clean edge, mulched and ready for the spring. I forgot to do over here. That'll just have to wait till another day. Anyway, there it is. Oh, I love a nice edge. Okay. Now I gotta go pick up my car from the shop, and then I'm coming back to, I think, take hardwood cuttings at the Carolina Allspice, but we shall see. Okay, see you in a bit. I can't remember if I brought this up when I was talking about all the different projects that I wanted to do, but I just want to point out here, right there, was an American holly, and now I dug it out right here, and there is a spot that I want to put it out my living room window in between my house and my neighbor's house, because it'll be a nice privacy tree because it's evergreen. So I am going to transplant this American holly over there a little bit later. I'm going to let the roots soak in the water for a while. Yeah, so that is also on the list today. And now let me give you an update on the dry creek bed. So I blew out all the leaves here, and you'll see actually the two button bushes that I thought I was going to move to the middle, I didn't. I'll tell you why in a second. So anyway, the dry creek bed weaves in through here, and then there I had my dumb looking island, so that's been removed. I had one bag of rocks, so I put that down, but I'm going to need probably maybe 2 more to spruce everything up and to complete that part of it. I'm not sure if you can see, but there, the button bush that was like right there, see right there, when I dug that out, it was actually like, I don't know, a bunch of plants. So what I did is there's, let's see if I can do this, one there, one here, and then 2 little ones right there. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna keep the deer off of those because I only have one cage, but that's how it's gonna sit for now. We have a snowstorm coming tonight. I think it's only like 1 to 3 inches, but for Northern Virginia, that's like, you know, blizzard conditions. That's done for now. I just gotta clean up. There's Violet. Say hi, Violet. What are you doing? Huh? You can't get through. That's the cherry tree that came down. She wants to walk through the path. And it's obstructed, so she doesn't know what to do. Oh my gosh, she's so boring. Violet. Oh, here we go. Here we go. She's the biggest wimp. What? Bye, Violet. You're not a good guard dog. Just saying. She won't even get up off the couch when she barks at something in the house. Okay, here's another look at it. You coming? She likes to eat the sedges. She loves them. Where are we going now? You want to go propagate some Carolina Allspice? I live right next to Dulles Airport. Never really noticed the planes because I've always lived close to Dulles until I started making videos. Hey, babe. What's you doing? What's you doing? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, big stretch. Okay, so now I went over to my Carolina Allspice, and I took hardwood cuttings. So that's my dog, that's not me breathing hard. So in the big picture, I have 3 hardwood cuttings I think are big enough to go straight in the ground. And then in the little mason jar, I have tiny, well, they're not tiny, but they're just small hardwood cuttings, smaller than what I think would take in the ground, or maybe I'm completely wrong about that, but I'm going to put them into some compost and my potting mix, my homemade potting mix, and see what I can do with those. And yeah, so I'm going to do that on the side of the house like we talked about earlier. So after putting the first one in, I thought it might be a good idea to show you guys how I do it. I just stick it down in there as far as I can get it, and I really try and get a couple of those leaf nodes underground. So let me do the other 2 and I'll show you as I'm doing it. I put a pink ribbon around each of the hardwood cuttings so that I don't step on it in the spring, and I know where it is, and I can be careful because of planting other things in this bed. But hopefully you can see, I would like that whole area to be Carolina allspice. This area will be Diopterus ferns, and then that area over there will be shrubby St. John's wort. I think it's mainly shrubby St. John's wort, and then I might put another Carolina allspice down there where that bed is, because those 2 beds are going to go back to that area where my hot or my cold frames are going to go. Ooh, I have to plant the American holly. Let's see. So that's the window that I was talking about. And so I wanted it to be right here. So I'm probably going to put it right here. Oh my gosh, this Japanese Pachysandra. Okay. So I think I'm going to put it right there. Let me get something. This was a dogwood that I propagated and with a hardwood cutting, and it did fine until the deer got to it. Okay, so that holly, maybe put it right here. Okay, and then I'll limb this up, this cherry. Oh, looks like the deer, that's deer damage, I think, where the males like itch their antlers. Okay, let me go get that American holly. I just happened to notice this. This is whitewood aster that's died back. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut that back and throw it in the bed in case there are any extra seeds on there. And I just love having whitewood aster everywhere. It's great filler. The deer eat it kind of, but it's okay. Enough survives, and it blooms so late that by the time it has enough time to bounce back for when it blooms. Okay, I think I'm done. I did a lot today. I'm not sure what in all of my list I got through. I will tell you the two biggest things on my list: getting the leaves out of the front yard and moving the cold frames from right next to the cutting garden down did not get done. So the leaves I'll do on the next warm day. The cold frames, I talked to the hubs and he seems to think that the two of us can't do it. So I'm gonna have a friend come over and help us move those so then I can put my deer resistant vegetables in that area and start carving out that bed. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful 62-degree day so I could get a bunch of my spring chores done before we have a snowstorm tomorrow. So if this content appeals to you, please consider subscribing, liking, or sharing with your gardening friends. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again next time. I love you. I love you. No, go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. I'm doing something. No. Go. No. Get out of there. I just planted those. Go. Not out loud.